Wait. Hold up. Did you see that? I don't think you did. Let me show you again. And this time, I want you to pay attention to my armor. I haven't felt this much confidence and dominance in a build since the Division 1. Well, I mean, in this specific category. Hybrid is what I'm referring to. The Division 2 community needs this build right now, because at one point I lost complete hope in trying to face tank a DPS build with 1.1 million armor using the Pestilence and Foxes with Contractor's Gloves equipped, or Umbra for that matter, while the enemy is using literally any weapon, the Iron Lung, the whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that there's a new kid on the block in the form of a hybrid build that plays no games. There. Oh my god, this combat's freaking pesty. Yes sir, get pushed and get bodied. It's been a while since I've used the capacitor in a build. I wanted to take a break and figure out other builds I can make with other gear and weapons. This has compelled me to come back. The purpose of this build is to absorb insane amounts of damage while returning the favor. It's actually multifaceted. It's team support. You can survive almost anything, rush and body with confidence. And most importantly, it's a completely different playstyle than the normal DPS builds we all see. And you know that's what I love the most. I spent a lot of time working on this build, mainly because at first I saw no use for the new Shiny Monkey Gear brand set, but boy is it a beast. It actually could be a meta contender, and I mean every word of that. Listen, I'm gonna stop wasting your time talking about this because I know you're itching to see what I have going on here. So let me show you. Got him. Let's go, boy. You know, at this point in the game, 6 years in of the Division 2, people tend to lose hope in the replay value of the game. But I've said this before, boredom breeds creativity, and boy do I have something for you. Oh man. Like I said, this build brought back a lot of Division 1 feels, because I remember I used to make tons of hybrids, and I'd use heals along with crits and DPS to create like the perfect synergy of survivability and DPS, and I'm reliving it in this build. I really didn't expect it to perform so well, and it did really well in the first match of Conflict, so I said, maybe it was luck. I tried again, and surely it wasn't luck, because I put myself in many situations wherein it was impossible for me to get out of, and I came through with flying colors. But I had to make a few adjustments. I gotta be honest, shout out to 𝒉𝒆𝒑𝒔 because he made a build, a crit healer, and that inspired this. But I was trying so hard not to completely copy what he did. I wanted to do something different. That's just how I like doing. And I said, how can I make this even more potent? Everybody has their own style and this is mine. But let me just get right into it. First of all, I had to go back to the capacitor, okay? Because I wanted to go try other builds without the capacitor to see what I can make. But I had to come back home and I'm so glad I did. Let me just explain to you what this does real quick, because this in and of itself is like wearing foxes in contractors, because it has two attributes: target out of cover damage 10% and 12% damage to armor. I gotta expertise this or optimize this to 15%, but you are going to be hitting like a truck no matter what build you have on. You just have to cater it correctly. Let me show you the mods on here. These are considered exotic mods. They can't be changed and they are awesome. First off, it gives you 10% crit hit chance for conductive focal, then 30% crit hit damage with 10% weapon handling. I wish they would change that, but it is what it is. You got some more rounds, okay? But the whole point of this is to create something that can dominate on pretty much any build, right? Now, what it does is that it increases your skill damage based on the amount of stacks you get up to 40, and you get 1.5% skill damage per stack. So the total amount you can get is 60%, all right? But this build is not really focused on skill damage. It is and it isn't. And I'm going to tell you how based on the skills that I used in each match, because here's what happened, right? I was destroying people, okay? As you saw in the gameplay, I was just literally face tanking, rushing people. I was just going in, and that was without the skill I have right here. I was initially using the Restore Chem Launcher, so I was healing double, right? Now, let me just get into the build right now. We're going to start off with the Shiny Monkey Gear brand set. Like I said, at first, I did not think that this was good at all. I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? 15% skill duration, 5% skill efficiency, and 52% repair skills. I'm not going to lie, it did look tempting. But I'm like, I'm not going to use 3 pieces to get that. I mean, come on now. Healing and stuff like that is not really viable in this game. I mean, to me, healing is like boring a little bit in this game if I'm not doing anything else. So I always wanted to make a build where it could be twofold. I could heal and deal damage, and this is the perfect setup, okay? Now, first of all, skill efficiency is great. We know that from Empress International, and it's so good that even 5% gives you enough that you need to see the difference. Now, skill efficiency encompasses everything when it comes to repair skills, skill damage, skill haste, all of that stuff is in the umbrella of skill efficiency. So that's perfect. And then skill duration is always something good that helps to keep your skills out longer, especially in a build like this. But this right here, the 52% repair skills, is what's helping me survive. And that's not all. We're going to get into it, okay? This chest piece is kind of difficult to get, okay? Whenever you're trying to get chest pieces rolled to exactly what you want it to, in this case, you're running Unbreakable because you want to survive as much as you can. Don't worry about getting the damage talent. The damage is going to be there. You'd want repair skills and critical hit chance. That's the composition. And the only pieces that I don't have it on are the chest piece, the gloves, and the Ninja Bike backpack, because those are fixed, okay? And that's what you need in order to make this build work, because both brand sets I have require 3 pieces. You're not going to be able to achieve that without this. Ninja Bike gives you an extra piece. Unlock bonuses from multiple sets simultaneously, all right? So this is a Shiny Monkey Gear brand set and RNK. And as you can see, I have 3 pieces for both. And this is what I was talking about when I wanted to add extra to the build, okay? Incoming repairs is actually the secret sauce to healing even more. And 25% explosive resistance helps as well, because you know people throw grenades. They have stinger hives, which are explosive damage, then the bleed afterwards. But here is another big part of this: 40% repair skills. That means that natively, without anything rolled on here, I have 92%. And with the 20% rolls that you can optimize on all the pieces, you'll be able to have an extra 60%, which equates to 152% repair skills total. Now, I know you can hear the excitement in my voice, and that's simply because you don't need a lot to deal the damage. You have the capacitor, and to get a little bit more crit, I have the Grupo Sombra gloves. The 2-piece gives you critical hit damage and explosive damage. Now, this is good for an offensive skill, which we're going to get into in a second. Now, the reason why I don't have Cheska Viroba or something else that'll give me crit chance is because you can achieve 60% crit chance without that. I just wanted to increase my crit damage a little bit more, and Grupo Sombra is perfect for that. And I'm going to show you the stats right away, all right, because those are important. 60% crit chance, 111% crit hit damage. And this is what I was talking about. The skills that I'm using, you can totally use 2 heal skills if you want to. That'll put you more on the support side of things. But something happened when I was playing with the Reinforcer Chem Launcher. I kept bodying one player who was using the Pestilence or some DPS build with like 1.3 mil armor or something like that. And because I kept bodying him, he went and changed his build to something else. I'm sure you can guess what it was. He switched to the 1.9 million armor, big horn, catharsis mask build. And at first I didn't know what he had on. And I was like, okay, what you got? Let's go. He put me down. And that's because I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't moving enough, because with those builds, they have to aim at your head. If you're shifty enough, you can win. You can win, especially if you have heals. That's when I changed to an offensive skill so that I can use it in case something like that pops up. Plus, it's more versatile, and it proved that I can heal enough with just the Restorer Hive. This right here gives you 358,000 HP, almost 500,000 health. Okay, the PvP healing is not even that much less, so it's barely nerfed in PvP. And this is a tier 6, which means you'll get the maximum amount of repair charges, healing, range, all of that. Okay, now I forgot to mention that with the capacitor, the reason why you're dealing so much damage is because for every skill tier you get 7.5% weapon damage, and that means that I have the maximum amount, not to mention the fact that 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐻𝐸 gives you a weapon core and an armor core. This build is great. I just thought about this as I was speaking. I'm using the burn sticky bomb simply because it's my favorite. I'm using 𝐒𝐿 though, which gives me 20% explosive damage, which means I should be using the explosive sticky bomb, right? That'll be a great option. The secondary, you're not even going to worry about, nor are you going to worry about the pistol. You're going to keep the capacitor in your hands at all times. Now let me just show you the specialization I'm using. Of course, it's Technician. There's one thing on here that you need to change. I don't know if you noticed this, right? You have something called Overclock CPU and Enhanced Diagnostics. This gives you either skill damage 10% or an extra 10% healing. You want to change it to healing specifically for this build. Technician specialization also gives you an extra skill tier, so it helps you reach that 6 tiers easier. So you get 1 extra skill tier from Technician and 1 extra from the 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 backpack. And that's how I'm able to roll armor right here without sacrificing the survivability. 1.1 million armor is more than enough of what you need for this build because I'm using Unbreakable. Once your armor breaks, you get a brand new set of armor. This build is not only for PvP, it's for both. I play with it in Countdown, I play with it in a heroic mission. You can play with it in legendary missions and still go ham, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this build is legitimate and I had to show it to the community. I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be using a build like this. And you know what's so crazy about this? So many people use DPS builds with weapon cores, or they use armor cores and just stack headshot damage. But the advantage that this build has over them is that they cannot disable my skills. So this is going to be on the ground for as long as I'm in the fight, unless you got something like the Theo where you could just be a nuisance and jam everybody's skills. But other than that, this build is going to be here to stay. Even still, if somebody is jamming my Restorer Hive, I can use the Reinforcer Chem Launcher, which is always in my hands and can never be disrupted. Maybe for a few seconds, but that's about it. Anyways, I wanted to show this to the community to help people out in PvE and PvP, whatever you're playing. This is going to be an amazing setup for any level of content. I'm glad I was able to finally come out with something like this because I'm having so much fun with it. I want to know if you've made a build like this, and if so, how have you set it up? And don't worry, I have a refactor build coming, and that, man, is about to be amazing. It's not like how I posted my other video. It's completely different, but stay tuned for that. Anyways, that'll do it for this one. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And if you like this, any part of it, the build, the gameplay, then like the video and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel for builds, guides, and gameplay. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.
I lost my mind in just a second, but the scars may stay for life.